On the 30 News, questions raised about athletic facility referendum, seeking approval on campus for new sex assault policy, and the creative community goes back to the drawing board.
I'm Meg Roberts. Thank you for joining us. Uncertainty after the January 21st UWSA board meeting over the recent vote rejecting student support of a new athletic facility at the University of Windsor.
I'll just make a point of order. Can I make a statement? Okay.
Tension rose over an investigation into the vote that was apparently launched by the UWSA board members. The referendum was whether future students should pay a fee of the multi-million-dollar renovation of the St. Denis Center and athletic fields. The proposal was defeated when graduate students voted no. At this time, it is not clear what comes next.
With regards to the outcome of it, there's nothing that could have been different because the way our system works is that the votes are tallied online. All the CRO sees is the results.
So I don't think there's anything really wrong with the referendum in the sense of the integrity of the question. There were just some questions about, I guess you could say, some of the conduct or some of the items that happened in the background, I guess you could say.
What I believe is that certain individuals within the organization did not adequately represent the needs and desires of the membership of the organization.
Our reporters will be tracking the story and following the outcome on this investigation. Watch the 30 News for more. The University of Windsor has created its first sexual assault policy. Taylor Campbell has more.
After a year of deliberation, the University of Windsor wants campus-wide input on its newly released sexual assault policy. The policy outlines the definition of consent, the rights of sexual assault survivors, and the options for disclosing and reporting a complaint. The policy follows the provincial government's proposed 2015 action plan for such legislation in all Ontario colleges and universities. Farah El-Haj is one of 3 students who worked with faculty to write the policy.
So this definitely helps establish the fact that there is a problem on campus. I know administrations across the country at the university level have seemed to neglect the issue because they're always afraid of the reputation being ruined by media coverage and things like that. So I think the fact that University of Windsor stepped up to the plate and began drafting an actual standalone policy, I think that speaks volumes. And I'm very, very, very thankful to attend a campus that took the concerns that I've had and thousands of other students on campus have had and actually drafted a policy. I think the policy states out exactly what sexual misconduct and sexual violence is, and I feel like it might shape, and I hope it shapes the culture that we have on campus, where it's a zero tolerance towards sexual violence on our campus.
El-Haj advises students to read through the policy to see what changes they think should be made. Campus police were not available for an interview. That being said, this policy does not change the way they handle sexual misconduct. To read the full policy, visit our website, the30.ca. I'm Taylor Campbell for the 30 News.
The 30.ca will be following this story for future developments. The feature film Concussion is currently bringing the issue of head injuries in sports to the big screen. Lancer athletic therapist Kathy Harvey met with the 30 to give her input on head injuries, as well as the issue of preventing and recovering from sports concussions.
I found a disease that no one has ever seen. Repetitive head trauma chokes the brain.
As of late, concussions have been a highly debated topic in the sports medicine world, a progressive degenerative disease that's resulting from repetitive head trauma. This has increased tenfold the medical care given to players thought to have a concussion and has started debates about whether football or other contact sports should be played from such a young age. I, Kane Walls, went and sat down with University of Windsor sports therapy Dr. Catherine Harvey to learn her views on the issue.
It dampens the forces, but a helmet can never prevent the yoke from getting jiggled. And the yoke is your brain. So the shell is your skull, and it does help. It's useful. It's great not to have a broken skull, but a helmet cannot stop the egg yolk from being jiggled. And that's what a concussion is. It's egg yolk, all splattered, even though the shell is in perfect condition.
Do they have to go through like a certain protocol before they can play again? Or?
All the athletes at the university, so every team that we have except for curling and fast pitch and men's baseball. So our soccer teams, our volleyball teams, our hockey teams, football, basketball, those teams, those athletes every year undergo a preseason baseline neurocognitive test, which tests reflexes, short-term memory, the reaction to questions. The only way that someone really could ever get away with playing with symptoms is that they didn't tell anyone they had a headache. If there isn't any symptoms, they're still playing whatever, so it is impossible to know. So there have been times where athletes have felt perfectly fine. They felt perfectly fine for a week. Great, no symptoms, they've done physical activity, and they do the test, and the test says, no, your reaction times still aren't back where they were. It's dangerous territory. You know, there's a lot of companies with great reputations, and they're designing helmets that prevent concussions, and that's a physical impossibility. They can dampen forces, but they cannot stop the egg yolk from getting jiggled.
Reporting from the St. Denis Center, this is Caden Walsh from 30.ca.
Keep up with the 30 Sports in future weeks to learn more about the impacts of head injuries and sports concussions. And now we turn to Jordan Morsel-Collins with the Arts Update.
Thanks, Meg. I recently visited the Arts Council Windsor region, where they took over the gallery space in order to engage the community in a dialogue about the arts. Windsor is a vibrant city with an equally vibrant culture. Arts Council Windsor region believes that the future success of the city relies on keeping the arts thriving. The local arts organization is hosting Back to the Drawing Board, a 2-week think tank designed to address the needs of the creative community in Windsor, Essex. ACWR Executive Director Michelle Lachine says that the key to the event is finding out what the community wants.
And that's actually one of the things that we kind of want to find out from the community is what they're looking for in the arts and cultural community in the next 5 to 10 years. So in that way, you got to start working on those things now in order for you to achieve those within the 5 to 10 year range. An artist's work sometimes isn't just a hobby, it's actually their work, it's their career choice. And that's something as the Arts Council we do. We support those artists in their career development as well. So that's something as the Arts Council we want to see develop further is our resources and our support networks as it relates to helping an artist develop their career in the arts.
Arts and culture are increasingly at the forefront of discussion of economic development. Lachine says that politicians and leaders need to focus on the arts.
I think one of the things is for them to understand and really accept the economic impact that the cultural industries has on our community. It's a major driver in every community, whether it's to animate a community or a neighborhood or to actually help with the like I said, the economic impact of the community itself.
Through brainstorming maps, community chalkboards, and shared resources, Back to the Drawing Board has prompted a lot of dialogue in the Windsor arts community. Laura Service, ACWR Outreach Coordinator, says that this dialogue is what makes Back to the Drawing Board so important.
I think a common thread that we sometimes see is in Windsor is groups or artists that are not collaborating or not working together, and even though they might be experiencing the same challenges and the same problems, and they're living and working in the same community. So if we can bring them together in a very open, very relaxed environment, that they can then express their concerns and maybe learn through other people how they dealt with it, or learn from staff or volunteers of the Arts Council, then everybody wins.
The ACWR wraps up Back to the Drawing Board today. The organization will update the public on the results of the think tank in the coming months.
Thanks, Jordan. Now, you mentioned that the arts are a key driver of economic growth. Do you have an exact number for us?
Yes, I actually do. A study prepared by the Ontario Arts Council states that culture brings in $4.1 billion per year, as well as creating 67,000 jobs.
Great. Thank you so much for being here. Before we leave you, the 30 was on the floor during the North American International Auto Show. Our reporter Roy Kane captured footage from the show. That's it from us. We're always on the 30.ca, and we'll be back with our next television newscast in 2 weeks. I'm Meg Roberts. Thanks for watching.